Bring it on.
In this present crisis, government is not the solution to our problem. Government is the problem.
Do you want the whole truth? I don't think you're ready.
Governments don't control things. A government can't control the economy without controlling people.
It's Crane Durham's Nothing But Truth.
Well, good evening, good afternoon, wherever you are. We're glad you're here, right here on the AFR Talk Network. I'm Crane Durham, Crane Durham's Nothing But Truth. We welcome those of you who are listening or watching. Our good friend Tony Perkins, Washington Watch, FRC President Tony Perkins. Welcome to the show. Remember to lock it in, AFR Talk, all day, all night. Like Lionel Richie, all night long. Now, we got a lot to get to. Again, 90 minutes. We're going to get to as much as we can. Give you a little rundown of the show. Colonel Gordon Kakulu will be with us at the top of next hour. We'll be talking about the American hero who passed, that being Bud Day. We'll also talk about President Obama's comparison between Ho Chi Minh last week and Thomas Jefferson. We'll ask the Colonel about that. We'll ask him about the updates and developments in the Benghazi story. There is some new news, a revelation, if you will. And we will ask him about Syria, Egypt, Iran, and Israel. So we're going to get the Colonel's point of view. That's at the top of next hour. We'll also be hitting the IRS scandal, top of next hour, actually after the Colonel, with Hans von Spakovsky, who writes about the real IRS scandal. Very interesting take by Hans, senior legal analyst at the Heritage Foundation. And if you ever had a question about what exactly is going on and why it's a scandal, Hans will answer that directly. Bottom of the hour, former Reagan and Bush administration official. He's an economist. He is a best-selling author. He's the architect, arguably, of about 3 economic plans that have impacted this country big time in a positive way, or at least has been a part of that process. Peter Ferrara will be with us. And at the bottom of the hour, he's going to tell you that Detroit is just a microcosm of what America has turned out to be and that what we are facing. So what Detroit is going through, we as a country are going to be facing. And he details it. So, oh, yes. And yes, Rand Paul, a little later on this hour, Rand Paul versus Chris Christie. A back and forth, and then we're going to get your take on the NSA scandal or story, as well as the way it's being framed. And with the Republican Party, which way is it going? More libertarian? Then there's the national security part of it. Some people would call neocons. Okay, where's that going? So we'll take a good look at that. And Rand Paul actually said something regarding the debt ceiling debate. Boring. No, it's not, because it's going to be a basic rerun of the charges that we heard last time during this debt ceiling debate. And the important thing to take away here, the way the issue is being framed. If it is about the Republicans, mean, nasty, those mean, nasty Republicans are shutting down the government again, like 95 and 96, well, you can see how that plays out. And that's why many are advising against it. We'll get your take a little later on this hour. But right now I want to go to specifically a story of being out of touch or just being a liar. Chris Wallace listed the following facts. Growth in the fourth quarter last year was 0.4%. It was 1.8% in the first quarter of this year. There's a lot of people believing it's going to be less than 1% in the second quarter. Anemic growth by any means. That's my editorial. Median household income is down 5%. And the percentage of Americans in the workplace has dropped from 65.7% to 65.3%, again, since the recession. So he asked Jack Lew, Treasury Secretary, on Sunday, he asked the Treasury Secretary about these numbers and about equality in the middle class. And how does he answer those numbers when it's happened under President Obama? Roll it.
So, Chris, you've just made a case as to why the things the president was talking about this week are so important. We need to focus together in a bipartisan way on the things we can do to help America's middle class. The truth is the core of our economy is strong, it's resilient, and we've been growing. We've been growing for 40 months. We've seen job growth for 40 months, GDP growth, economic growth for 4 years. It's not fast enough. We want to do everything we can to speed the pace of economic growth and job creation. That means we have to address the issues that the president laid out this week. We need to do the things to help build a foundation for better jobs.
Over and over again, expecting a different result. Remember, their idea of success is exactly what is happening right now. They see growth of any kind. It's the new normal, the Europeanization of our economy. I'm not ready to accept it. Are you? Are you ready to accept it? I'm not. We can do a lot better. Why are we hamstringing ourselves in so many ways? I think part of the reason is we don't have people holding Jack Lew and others to account, and when they do, they're demonized or the attempt to silence them. When a major story comes along, like the IRS scandal, it is almost as if the press is reluctant to cover it because it will injure the team that is carrying out their ideology of the ruling class. Remember our interview yesterday with Mr. Cordovilla. That said, do you remember this? Andrew Breitbart, 2011, was the man who outed Anthony Weiner regarding the scandal, said he had a picture. He was assailed by the mainstream media, and it was an attack the messenger campaign from Anthony Weiner. This is the scandal. This is something that we can bring, something good that has come out of it, just to reference. Thank you very much. Was that still under construction? To reference the point of how corrupt the mainstream media is. At the press conference in 2011, which Weiner was going to give a press conference, and in essence, you had Andrew Breitbart step up, the late, great Andrew Breitbart, and he challenged the media. This is Butamus. It's B12. And let's get that slate and roll it.
The media says Breitbart lies, Breitbart lies, Breitbart lies, Breitbart lies. Give me one example of a provable lie. One. One. Journalists, one. Put your reputation on the line here. One provable lie. Then why won't you release the photo? You know what I would be accused of if I released this photo? I'm doing this to save his family, okay? And if this guy wants to start fighting with me again, I have this photo. But I absolutely do. I'm not doing this for nefarious purposes. I'd like an apology from him for allowing for his political protectors, this was his strategy, was to blame me for hacking. Oh, don't worry. Breitbart's our regular whipping boy. We can accuse him of anything, and the press will not hold those journalists to account no matter what they say. And so I'm here for some vindication.
He challenged him, and he's done that before. I remember an interview that he did with Cenk Unger. I think that's his name. Remember the guy on MSNBC, and I'm probably butchering his name, not because I'm not trying to be disrespectful, because he advocates for what he believes in, and so be it. Far left guy. Used to be on MSNBC. Bottom line, Breitbart went toe-to-toe with him, and it's an amazing back and forth. Here's the point. Here's what you want to take away from just the last 10 minutes. Understand that the foundation for the mainstream media is crumbling, like this administration's policies have failed, like the message is falling out. Why is that important? Not because I dislike President Obama on a personal basis. I don't know him. I don't like friends that lie to me. I think lying is awful. And I think if somebody looks me straight in the face and lies and says it over and over again, expecting I'm going to be a moron and go, oh, okay, thank you. No. But I don't know him personally. This is about truth winning. On the flip side, we're going to be reviewing an interview I posted on the Facebook, Neil Cavuto versus the protesters at McDonald's the other day. What did it mean? Minimum wage hike, living wage. We have the debate on the flip side. Crane Durham's Nothing But Truth probably on. Say it with me, AFR Talk.